I'm thinking we're supposed to be the good guys. He's supposed to be watching back.
Count 1, capital murder. 2, a term of life without the possibility of parole.
Few things are more satisfying than watching a corrupt cop break down in fear and tears when finally held accountable. And there's no better place for justice than the courtroom. Today, we're diving into shocking cases where officers crossed the line and faced the consequences in court. Starting up, we have the case of a Border Patrol agent, Ronald Burgos, who committed the unimaginable act of murdering his baby mother, Griselda Hernandez, and their toddler son. Here's the testimony of the Border Patrol agent who arrived at the crime scene first.
The person that was using that car at the time was supposed to meet a Border Patrol agent at the Father Magnoble Park.
Okay.
The transmission that came in was the boyfriend's name was Anthony Burgos.
Okay. And explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the exchanges that happened at that time.
So when Anthony Burgos, when the radio transmission came up for Anthony Burgos, there was only one Border Patrol agent that was at that location with us. I had just seen him. I had never seen this person before. I see him. He's right near the car, and so I wave him over. I say, "Hey, come here." As he's walking up to us, the name says Burgos. So we look at the name. I'm looking at the name as he's coming over, and I'm just like, hey, what? I think this is the person they just called over the radio. But they said Anthony, and I look at the first name, and it's an R, Burgos.
Shockingly, just minutes after committing the murder, Burgos was caught on the crime scene but was trying to evade accountability. Watch as the Border Patrol agent explains how they ultimately tracked him down.
So we all knew that his name was Burgos, but he had the R in front. So Detective Reyes tells him, "Hey, what's your name, man?" And he says, "Ronald Burgos." And we're looking for Anthony Burgos. And radio transmissions are coming through, and so it's kind of getting a little hectic. Burgos approaches closer to Reyes. I'm walking next to him. I'm the only uniformed officer. So I'm right next to him, and he says, "Hey, man, what's your name?" And then Burgos says, "Ronald Burgos Aviles." He only uses his last names. So then Rick's like, "What's your name, dude? Why are you not telling me your name? What's your name?" And he says, "My name's Ronald Burgos Aviles." And he says, You're not telling me your name. Do you have an ID or something?"
Burgos was eventually detained by the responding officers. He showed little to no remorse in the courtroom and was still denying the murders.
The unit was not there when this initially happened?
Correct. It was not.
Did you or did Detective Reyes secure him or check to see if he had any weapons, or what did you do?
Yes. So once I took the belt off, I put it behind his unit, and then I patted him down as the unit approached us. So I patted him down. I located a phone on him and a driver's license in his shirt pocket.
Okay, so and what did you do with those two items?
I turned over the driver's license to Detective Reyes, and the cell phone, I put it with his property that I had already taken, which was his Sam Brown. I put it in the back of his truck.
The prosecutor also presented dash cam footage showing the moment Burgos was arrested and placed in the back of the police cruiser.
He's wiping his arms. Looks like he's cleaning something off, or
Right before he wiped his arms?
he licked his finger.
Shockingly, the officer was licking off his fingers and wiping his arms, desperately trying to wipe off the blood of the victims. He had committed the horrible murders with a knife as he lured both of them to talk about their future. Little did the poor souls know, a man they trusted was about to become a predator.
Come on, man. Oh yeah, he could have just told me straight up, man, instead of making me
Burgos, however, had made another blunder. After taking the lives of his baby mother and his son, he called the deputies to report a murder. One of the first responders was Agent Francisco Lara, who later testified in court.
I look south and I see the silhouette of the young woman. So I completely forget about Mr. Burgos and I start running towards the victim.
See the victim.
As soon as I see the victim, I approach and I start yelling, like, "Señora, señora, despierta, estás despierta. Ma'am, wake up." Because at this time, all I see is blood. I told my trainee, I call him Schmitty. I like, "Schmitty, is that what I think I'm looking at?" And I see the silhouette and I immediately start running towards her. And that's when I tell him, like, I start yelling at her, "Estás despierta, are you awake?" I ask Mr. Burgos, "Do you have any gloves?" He's like, "No, I do not." So I say, "I don't have any gloves." And I asked my trainee, Schmitty, "Do you have any gloves?" And thankfully, being the great agent that he was, he did have a pair of gloves. So he goes ahead and tells me, like, "Sir, I have gloves." So I take them both. I grab one and I give one to Mr. Burgos.
Lara was petrified to see the wounds, as Griselda had been stabbed 27 times, while the baby was also struck twice in the body. How a father can do such a heinous crime is beyond me.
And I immediately check for a pulse. I don't feel a pulse. I look at my fingers and they're covered in blood because I checked her neck area. So I don't feel a pulse. So I immediately see her left wrist. It's facing up. I check her wrist. And again, I do not feel a pulse. Right away, I tell Mr. Burgos, "Sir, I think she's 10-7, which means that she's dead." And he's like, "Yeah, it looks that way." He's standing there. Not really, the supervisor normally takes control of the situation and radios in everything to the station. Once again, he's quiet. I'm the one relaying everything that I'm seeing to the station. I'm processing everything in, I'm taking it in. And I'm telling them what I'm seeing, and right away I start telling the camera operator to start scanning the river. I tell him, "Scan the river, see if you see anybody going back."
Eventually, it was revealed that Burgos had committed these murders just so he can stop giving his baby's mother child support. Officer Lara, in disbelief, expressed his shock that a fellow officer could commit such a horrific act.
I'm standing next to the victim. I check her. Mr. Burgos is standing over here too, I guess on the other side of her. So I tell him she's 10-7, which means she's dead. Radio everything in. I told base 2, I think she's dead. They tell me, take a step back, trigger the crime scene. So before anything, I told my trainee, go to the gate and open it for the paramedics. He takes off. So before I take a step back, I'm surprised to see so much blood. So I grab my head and I'm like, where is all this blood coming from? So at that moment, Mr. Burgos is like, cuts in front of me. He's like, "Let's find out." He grabs her from the bicep area, grabs her from the hip area, picks her up, looks at her, puts her back down. He does that and my eyes were wide open. I was like, what is going on? And I take a step back. At the time he picks her up, I could see the shadow of her face.
Officer Lara eventually couldn't even control his emotions, as he had an emotional breakdown right in court explaining how he felt about Burgos and the entitlement he showed throughout.
My team leader tells me, "Hey, we already activated the Border Patrol unions, the lawyers for you. Before you make any statements, we already got lawyers." And I'm like, "We already made our official statement." He was surprised. He's like, "Oh, you did?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, before he hangs up, he's like, "Just so you know, there's a rumor saying that the dead woman is Burgos' side chick." I'm like, "All right, 10-4, let me call you back." I tell him, "Sir, we just heard a rumor that the dead woman is Burgos' side chick." The detective said, "Side chick? That's his baby mama. And there's a possibility the dead boy is his son." That's when everything I broke down is the word. Everything I felt like there's a weight on my shoulder and I started crying. Because there I am thinking,
Wait. Get to the next place.
Here I'm thinking we're supposed to be the good guys. He's supposed to be watching my back.
Hold on. Give me 1 second.
And I broke. I was heartbroken.
1 second, Agent. Just going to question answer basis, Mr.
I'm good, sir. Thank you, Your Honor.
It was truly a sadistic action by the on-duty patrol officer, and the jury didn't take long to come up with their decision.
In cause number 2018 CRA 852D1, in the case of the State of Texas versus Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, the jury has returned a unanimous verdict. I'm about to read the verdict of this jury on punishment as to count number 1. Special issue number 1 on count 1. Whether there is a probability that the defendant, Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, would commit criminal act of violence that would constitute a continuing threat to society. Whether taking into consideration all the evidence, including the circumstances of the offense, the defendant's character and background, and the personal moral culpability of the defendant, there is a sufficient mitigating circumstance or circumstances to warrant that a sentence of life imprisonment without parole rather than a death sentence be imposed. Answer, yes. Signed by the foreperson of the jury.
As expected, the jury found him guilty of 2 counts of murder, and he was sentenced to life.
You heard me announce the verdict of the jury with regard to both counts of this indictment. It is now my job to sentence you in accordance with that indictment, with that verdict. Do you understand that? After being found guilty by this jury of 2 counts of capital murder, and after giving us the verdict that they have just announced, it is my job now to pronounce sentence. As to count 1 of capital murder, and as a result of the sentence of the verdict of the jury, you will be sentenced on count 1 as to capital murder to a term of life without the possibility of parole.
Burgos avoided the death sentence, but he would be spending the rest of his life in prison. Well, this officer did the unthinkable, but the next sheriff was rightfully humbled and owned in court.
Stay out here.
The sentences will be served consecutively for a total of 4.5 years, of which 3 years of imprisonment.
In May 2019, Sheriff James Lujan overstepped his boundaries and abused his power to save his dear friend, Counselor Philip Chacon, when the cops arrived at his home with an arrest warrant. Angered by his interference, the officers secured a warrant for the sheriff's phone and later showed up at his office in 2020 to confront him directly.
Morning, sir. Executing search warrant. Sheriff Lujan.
Search warrant for him or?
For the building as well. I have no idea. It's house. But no, just stay here. No, I can't have you enter the scene.
You guys are fucked up, man.
Let's get him on the opposite side of this truck.
Cody?
Let's go on the opposite side.
Why is that, dude? That's messed up.
Sheriff. That's what I'm saying. Let's get him on the opposite side of this truck.
Well, you got Tabitha over there. They got the press out here taking pictures of me in handcuffs.
Lujan couldn't believe how a warrant was released against him. He and his fellow cops desperately tried to save him, but things had gotten too far now.
Push him around into the doorway. Yeah, push him around into the doorway. At least to the doorway.
This is ridiculous.
Hold on, we have press.
Keep him out there.
Come over here, sir.
Keep him out there.
Sheriff,
Let's go.
What you doing?
Stay out here.
Jesus. Really? You don't have to. Just stand. Just stand. Just stand.
Put him on this side of the truck. Put him on the outside of the truck.
It hurts.
They're loose, sir. They're loose.
No, they're not loose. Can you take these handcuffs off? They hurt. They hurt. Am I under arrest?
You're being detained.
Well, yeah. Why do I have to have cuffs on? They hurt.
The sheriff's corruption would have been exposed badly if the authorities had seized and checked his phone. Therefore, the corrupt sheriff started to resist the cops, creating a problem for himself.
25, do all units, make sure you guys stay running hot.
So on this is signed by a district court judge. Good. Okay. Judge Bowman, First Judicial. Okay. So this search warrant gives me the authorization to seize your phone. Okay. Search your phone. Okay. But it also gives me the authorization. So what I'm asking for you to do is unlock your phone, unlock it, give it back to me, and I'm going to remove the security settings. I don't want your passcode. I'm not asking for your passcode. I'm asking you to unlock the phone. For the search warrant, you can read it if you want under number 2.
I will if I get a chance to talk to my attorney.
It doesn't work like that.
Marty,
this is not a negotiation.
get off.
This is not a negotiation, Sheriff.
As expected, the sheriff refused to surrender his phone, prompting the deputies to arrest him on the spot and prepare to take him to the station for booking.
You can talk to your attorney.
Well,
This is all
I've
done.
been asking.
When this is all done, you can call your attorney. But right now, we're trying to get you to comply with the warrant. The warrant stipulates exactly what we want. Give us that. We'll get the phone. We're out of here.
Right now, I'm under arrest. Because I am under arrest. I am in handcuffs. I'm not free to leave. I'm not free to leave? Am I free to leave? No. Then, if I'm under arrest, I have a right to an attorney, correct?
You do.
Okay.
And I'm not questioning.
I'm invoking my right to an attorney right now.
Okay.
You understand that?
So, take him in.
Book me for
Book
what?
it. For obstruction. Obstruction.
Book it. I'm not obstructing.
Take him over here to our unit. Take him over here to our unit.
Over here, Sheriff. Over here.
Sheriff. They're gonna book me. Look,
Stop. Just walk.
The out-of-control sheriff finally learned he wasn't above the law, and it was undeniably satisfying to see him cuffed by officers far junior to him.
I'm telling you what the warrant stipulates.
I understand that.
I told you what the warrant stipulates. You have every opportunity to cooperate. If you want to cooperate, you're going to jail. Have a seat, sir.
Alright, you good? Why is already
Take the whole thing off. No, I haven't been searched. Just take me
step
so
out
we
here.
can do it.
I just want to make sure you don't have any knives.
I don't have any knives. I don't have any weapons. That's my wallet.
What's this?
My keys to my truck. I don't have any weapons. Okay? I really don't. You took my weapon. As a matter of fact, you left it on the back of my truck over there. You can get somebody to secure it,
We'll
please.
secure everything for you. Have a seat.
Can you move these to the front?
No, sir. Against department policy. Have a seat.
Well, it's tighter than hell. They hurt.
Sheriff, those are very, very loose.
Really?
Step
Nah.
out. Let me see if I can fix it. They're very, very loose.
Sheriff Lujan's deputies weren't too impressed either, and they even tried to fight against the Santa Fe deputies for arresting their boss. But these honest deputies weren't having any of it.
This is Meg, and then we're gonna get you his cyber.
Get everything. I don't want part of it.
What do you mean everything? So this is what we took off this person? You're the one that took it off this person? Took it off this person. Deputy Graves.
Well, inventory it before you get it.
We're handing it right over to you.
Inventory it.
We're trying to do everything peacefully. We tried to. Okay? That's all we're doing. We're done here. We're leaving.
Okay, well, get out of here then. You're done. Get out.
We'll
No.
leave when we're ready.
You said you were done.
Yeah, we're wrapping it up right now. You know how it goes. You know how it goes. We're doing our law enforcement duties. That's it. District court signed it. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so as soon as we're done, we're going to get out of your hair. Why are you calling everybody here to put them
This is our
involved?
house.
Well, right now it's ours.
No, you're...
Right now it's ours.
Oh, wow.
We own the building right now.
Shut up.
Don't talk to me like that.
Shut up.
I don't work for you.
Hey,
Don't
kid,
talk to me like
shut
that.
up.
Easy,
Go over
easy. Get that and let's go. Are we done in there? Are we done in there? Okay.
Lujan's phone was eventually accessed, and as a result, he was found violating the department's policies. He was charged with intimidating a victim and aiding a felon. He was also immediately fired from his position, and here's how he was taken to the cleaners in court.
The people of Rio Arriba County elected you to be sheriff. They put their trust in you to uphold the law, and you let them down.
Yes, Your Honor, I try to do the best that I can to help everybody I can, and I in no way would want to.
You are not above the law, nor can you ignore the law when it serves your purpose. The sentences will be served consecutively for a total of 4.5 years, of which 3 years of imprisonment and 1.5 years supervised probation.
Was very arrogant, and he would use that power to interfere with other investigations that weren't his investigations.
You let down the people of Rio Arriba County, and you let down the Sheriff's Department, the department that you led. What kind of example were you giving the people that you supervise?
The sheriff served a few years in prison and was later released on probation, which he continues to serve to this day. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today, we examined cases in which corrupt and reckless officers made some of the worst choices imaginable and ultimately faced justice in court. Thanks for watching. Please support the channel by subscribing, leaving a like, and comment if you want more like this.
Actually, we can trespass you from here. They can. Yes, I can. Give it a try then. All right, let's be done with that.